It's a gloomy day today and I'm feeling a little nostalgic. I was in my storeroom the other day and saw my boxed childhood PS3 on top of the shelf. So I do have it here. It's very heavy. Here it is. I think it'd be fun to see what's in here after so long because I've mostly forgotten what I actually have on here. Just some background info on my PS3. I got this 10 or 11 years ago for my birthday. It was 2014, a year after the PS4 release, and people were still on the PS4 high, me included. I wanted a PS4 for my birthday, but it was too expensive and my mom couldn't afford one brand new, and where I was, you couldn't find home consoles like these secondhand, so she got me a PS3 instead. She knew someone who could mod or jailbreak video game consoles, and it was just by far the cheaper alternative. So this PS3 is jailbroken and I was really excited to own and play this. It came with this hard drive which holds all of my games. One day, if I am up for it, I will learn how to use the firmware that's already on the console and hopefully be able to add in more games as well. Since I have two consoles, it'd be really fun to look for multiplayer or co-op games that I can play with my partner, friends, and family. I did originally play multiplayer on Call of Duty with my twin sister, but that was the extent of my multiplayer session and we didn't play COD very much in general. Let me know if you have any recommendations you think I'd enjoy and I'll definitely check them out. From memory, I have lots of third-person adventure games, so things like Last of Us, Uncharted, Quantic Dream games, great story-driven games with fun action sequences and cool characters. I really hope my save files are still in the console. It'd be really cool to see what my progress was and how far I've gone in the game and the playtimes I've had on those games. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Here is a catalogue of all the games I have contained in my hard drive. I'll try my best to talk about most of these games in depth. I haven't actually played every single one of these games fully. Most of them are actually incomplete, or I would simply play casually rather than aim to finish the story. I would play through the first couple of minutes to get a feel of what the game has to offer. This also serves as a good way to gauge my interest towards the game. These games started off as being sorted in alphabetical order, so I will go in that order. Let's start off with Prototype since it's first on the list. Prototype has always been something I want to play in full simply because it's a third-person game. The reason I gravitate towards third-person games is because I like seeing the character I'm playing. I get to appreciate their movements and design. It just feels more personal and fun to me. Whereas with first-person shooters, your only visual is just your surroundings or the character's limbs. Anyway, in Prototype, you play Alex Mercer, who is very reminiscent of Venom and Carnage from the Marvel Universe. He has shape-shifting abilities where his arm can form into a weapon, and he can also consume humans for energy. It's so satisfying to run around with these powers, which was what caught my attention to this game in the first place. I did try to play through the game, but as with downloaded games, you are bound to run into problems, and that was what happened to me. I was stuck in this one specific level because the game just kept booting me out whenever I tried to progress. So I don't know, maybe I might get it off of Steam one day or try to re-download the game to be able to replay it. I never played Prototype 2, but if it's anything like the first game, then maybe I'll look into playing it one day. Let me know your thoughts about this game and whether or not it's worth playing. I'd be really interested to hear about them. We have now reached the Assassin's Creed portion of the list, which is one I am most excited about. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I'm actually going to talk about Assassin's Creed 4 first. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it is my favorite Assassin's Creed title ever. It's also the first Assassin's Creed game I played, as well as the first game I played on this PS3 console, so it means a lot to me. I was so spoiled with Black Flag being my first AC game. Havana is such a lush and beautiful place, roaming the streets, being chased by guards and jumping across rooftops. You feel so immersed. It's like as if you are an actual assassin in a big open world with the ability to climb buildings and do parkour anywhere and anytime. The graphics are so crisp. Running through water feels heavy and realistic. The customization of the boat, the ship battles, and raiding the enemy ships to collect treasures and resources. The diving to hidden caves for more treasure and harpooning animals. Oh my gosh, and the sea shanties. They're so good. I mindlessly sail the seas just to listen to them. I could honestly go on and on about this game. There is so much to do, and I love this game so much that I even got a copy for the Switch as well. My Switch version is at 99% because I believe I'm just stuck with completing Kenway's fleet. Oh yeah, and I own this Buccaneer Edition collector's item, which contains a few items inside. It was a second-hand purchase, so the previous owner probably just took the game out and left everything as is in the box. This has been sitting on my shelf unopened, but let's take a brief look at what's inside. Here you can see the art book sits nicely in this little slip. I've flipped through a couple pages and absolutely love this. There's also this beautifully designed envelope with the AC4 emblem, which includes lithograph of the man himself and the jackdaw. It also comes with the CD soundtrack, which I have yet to open, but I don't have a CD player. One day, when I do get one, you can bet I'll be playing this bad boy. My box didn't come with a physical game since I got the second hand, but with my hard drive, I don't need a physical copy for the PS3. And here's the figure itself. I think it's super detailed. I like the attention they put on Edward's clothes with the realistic looking texture. I don't really know what to look for with figures, but I do wonder what the general consensus of this box's figure design is, or whether other collector edition boxes for the AC franchise are well regarded by the community, but I'm personally a fan of how this looks. It feels pretty high quality to me, and I suppose Edward looks like him. While I've replayed this game countless times, it always feels refreshing and fun to come back to this game. This game will always hold a special place in my heart. I played Assassin's Creed 2 right after Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and if you're wondering why my order of playing the game is so jumbled, it's because this was the game that everyone loved, the start of the Ezio Auditore trilogy. Ezio is such a fan favorite. He is a cool assassin, but Edward Kenway will always have my heart. I mean, again, I was spoiled with AC4 being my first Assassin's Creed game. My introduction was more modern and improved in terms of graphics. Ezio's theme though is very cool. It's got a beautiful gothic tone which I really adore. At times it can be mournful, which reflects Ezio's storyline, but the acoustics add adventure and enigma which also fit his character. The whole game has a really nice soundtrack, and I used to listen to it during my uni days when I'm studying or writing essays. It was my go-to concentration playlist. Locations-wise, I loved Florence, Italy. It's picturesque and charming. It sort of looks like a medieval town in this game, and Venice was also really pretty. Leonardo da Vinci was a cool character as well. My favorite part in this game was the Carnival mission because that was the highlight in the game trailer and one I was most excited to experience in person. And in the mission, you could play a minigame where you had to race with an NPC to see who could collect the flags the fastest. You would scale up buildings and run through rooftops while Ezio's theme played. That was such a vibe. AC Brotherhood is next. AC Brotherhood was really fun, but I only played this once. When I first played the game, it didn't work properly. It would simply get stuck in the title screen. That's just one of the cons of downloading games on a hard drive. It's not a guarantee they'll work. But when this was fixed, I was super grateful. I was so hyped to play this game, especially after watching the trailers so many times. Honestly, rewatching Assassin's Creed trailers was one of my favorite pastimes as a kid. They're always so cinematic and badass. While I only played Brotherhood once, I remember enjoying this a lot. I really liked learning about the Borgia family, and as a kid, I was naturally pretty confused when Cesare started kissing his sister. This was the first game in the AC franchise that introduced optional objectives. I do like the added challenge, especially when they're achievable, and it adds to the immersion of playing an assassin. I always try my best to complete these optional objectives to obtain the 100% synchronization because it feels satisfying to do so. I do remember a tedious optional objective, which I think happens towards the end of the game. It involved you using a tank, and the extra objective is to not take any damage, and that was almost impossible to do from memory. I don't remember if I actually got through that, but that really stuck with me because it was just so ridiculous and got me so heated. Aside from that though, this game was such a blast. I'm definitely keen on playing this game again in the future. AC Revelations was definitely an enjoyable game. I've replayed this game a couple of times. I like that you start off immediately where the game trailer left off, which is so much fun. One of my favorite locations in AC Revelations was the Grand Bazaar. I loved seeing the different details of each merchant's shops, the architecture, the patterns on the wall, and the stained glass windows. Paired with all the colorfully dyed clothes of the NPCs, the whole environment is so pleasing to look at. I also really enjoyed the hook gear, which helped you to climb higher points of a building. I feel like it improved the experience and was a great addition to Ezio's arsenal of weapons. And I was glad that Ezio met his beautiful book-loving love interest here and eventually settled down with her. He definitely deserved that happy ending. The Ezio trilogy is definitely super fun and something I would love to revisit. A marathon of these 3 games, playing them back to back, would be a pretty cool experience. I hold very, very fond memories of these games. Assassin's Creed 3. Unfortunately, this is where I would temporarily stop singing my praises for the Assassin's Creed franchise. I think AC3 was a fun game. Connor is a cool character, maybe not as rambunctious as Edward Kenway or Ezio Auditore. He is quieter, and yet I find him to be the most badass fighter in the whole franchise. Maybe it's the way the game is programmed, how the tomahawk sounds when the character's head is bashed, or the fact that killing a group of guards attracts a whole slew of them and you eventually create a bloodbath in the middle of the streets. This game was notorious for its optional objectives. Again, I like to try achieving 100% synchronizations, but AC3 really tested my patience with this. The extra objectives were just so unnecessarily hard, and sometimes I felt like giving up. I felt so incapable and thought I couldn't play the game well. It was at that point that I decided to look up tips online, only to learn that I wasn't alone in this. I definitely agree that the difficulty of the optional objectives take the immersion out of the game and hinders its flow. I'd forgotten about playing a badass assassin during the Battle of Monmouth because I was too focused on trying to achieve something for completion's sake. I've played this game twice, only because the first time I played this game it was more casual and I didn't care for the secondary tasks. But with my second playthrough where I was focused on completing the 100% syncs, I exhausted myself. So unfortunately, I don't see myself replaying this game anytime soon. AC Rogue was the last Assassin's Creed game I played on the PS3, and oh how much I savored this game. The next installment would be AC Unity, which was only available on the PS4, so I really took my time playing this game, knowing I would not get to Unity in a long time. The oldest save file my PS3 holds is actually of AC Rogue, which was back in 2015. Crazy to think that this was 10 years ago. Because I like AC Black Flag so much, it's no surprise that I enjoyed Rogue. To be honest, Shay Cormac is a bit of a forgettable character to me. I don't really remember much about him except for the fact that he decided to side with the Templars. This game lets us see through the eyes of the Templars, and that was quite refreshing. I'm pretty ignorant with historic events, which is why I appreciate the Assassin's Creed franchise so much. They were the best history teachers for me growing up. It was thanks to this franchise that I got to learn about the Great Lisbon Earthquake in 1755 that happened on All Saints' Day. That was the most memorable scene for me, and it happened pretty early in the game. It literally shocked me, and during the whole sequence where Shay was trying to run to safety, I could feel the anxiety and panic around him. I was in disbelief that something like that actually happened. I literally thought it was fictional, because how could something that catastrophic actually happen in real life on a religious day of all days? But I digress. Rogue has fun gameplay with objectives that aren't too far-fetched as AC3. Like AC Black Flag, I own this game on the Switch as well. It came as a bundle with my AC4 game, which I do not have any complaints about. It has great replayability, so I definitely see myself revisiting this game in the not-so-distant future. Ironically, the first AC game featuring Altair is being talked about last because I was exposed to its higher quality successors as my first Assassin's Creed experience. I never had the desire to pick up AC1. At one point during my childhood, I even bought an Altair Funko Pop to hype myself up to play the game, but that never came to fruition. I mean, do the Altair memories and revelations count? You do technically play as Altair and look back on pretty significant moments in his life. Also, I only learned a few months ago from Kristen Bell's interview in the Hot Ones that she voiced Lucy, and my mind was blown. That was a very cool surprise. The graphics in AC1 look beautiful, but the colors just seem washed out and dull. I'm pretty sure it was a great game during its time, and I have such high respects for the game developers, but I have such a biased perspective, seeing as I started with clear blue waters and colorful buildings. Now we move on from the AC franchise to the Batman games, Arkham City and Arkham Origins. I vaguely remember completing one of the games, but I don't remember which, and my save files are lost. I remember a sewer scene somewhere in the game and Batman being able to glide with his cape, which I had a lot of fun with, but I'm pretty sure these two features are available in both games. Yeah, that was mostly my PS3 gaming experience as a kid. I don't really follow the story, I was just in it to play the game and have fun with the third-person mechanics. Let me know which Batman game is your favorite and which might be best to start with, because I might consider picking them back up again. Beyond Two Souls is my favorite Quantic Dream game ever. I love interactive storytelling games. People's experience with the game is bound to be unique. Sometimes my sister would watch me play this game, and as someone who doesn't really play games, even she was able to appreciate how well driven and engrossing the story was. I found the mechanics of using Jodie's superpowers really fun. Jodie possesses telekinetic abilities which allows her to move and see stuff without the need to touch the object or be in the room. She uses this power through an immaterial character named Aiden, with whom she has a special connection ever since she was born. The beginning of this game is really hardcore. It really sets you up for an exciting time because there's a lot of mystery around Jodie, and playing an enigmatic but powerful character is a lot of fun. My favorite scene was the birthday party scene. That was so incredibly satisfying to play through and watch. I'm sure those of you who have played the game know which scene I'm referring to. This game means a lot to me. I've only played this game once, and with interactive storytelling games, I think it'd be really fun to replay this game and see if I can pave my way to get a different ending and see how that changes my perspective of the game. Call of Duty Advanced Warfares I will skip because I've never played this game, so I can't comment on it. But this brings me to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I do have quite a bit to say about this game. I first played this game with my cousins more than 10 years ago. I think it was around 2011. My family and I visited Australia as tourists, and my cousins had their own PS3 with this game. We would play the multiplayer campaigns a lot during our downtime. My favorite map was Nuketown because that was just where we would play the most in. Unfortunately, Nuketown is exclusive to a certain edition of the game, so it's not accessible in my situation. The boat is my second favorite, and I'd say Slums is my third favorite location. We would get really competitive with each other. We would call each other out if we suspected we were looking at each other's screens, and when you were trying to be the sniper from the top window, you'd be called a cheater. This brings me back to such simple times. We played a bit of zombie mode as well, but it was definitely more challenging, so I didn't find it as fun as regular multiplayer. I don't really have a preference in weapon. I usually just opt for the MK48 because I am most familiar with it. Otherwise, my main tactic was to run to someone and just stab them. Other than that, I didn't play the storyline of COD. I was just here to shoot people, win points, and have fun. Devil May Cry. I never played this game, but it's here because of my love for third-person games. Let me know what you think of DMC, because I love to hype myself up for this game. From what I've read online, there are puzzle and platforming elements. They are some of my favorite features of the game, so I would love to look into this. Far Cry 3 is only here because my mom was aware of its popularity, so she thought I would have enjoyed this. I did try playing the game, but I just have a really hard time getting into first-person shooter games. The graphics look really nice, but I don't know if I would ever pick this up. Next is GTA 5. I would absolutely love to get into this game one day, seeing as it's super well regarded. My favorite GTA title is still Chinatown Wars because of how fun the gameplay was. Ironically, I had a hard time immersing myself in the third-person world of the other GTA games. In my early days, I played Liberty City on my cousin's PSP, and eventually Vice City Stories on my older sister's PSP. Since I played them so young, I never got into the storyline and mainly just made trouble in the streets and getting busted left and right. It was fun but very superficial. Now that I'm older, I'd love to revisit these games again and see how much my perspective towards the gameplay and stories have changed. Heavy Rain. Okay, so this game. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. When I first tried to play Heavy Rain, trust me when I say I played non-stop. I would pick it up for a couple of hours each day because the story was just so engaging. But when I reached one scene, it refused to load any further. I don't remember exactly which scene. Might be the part where the detective had to go through an abandoned house? But that's just what happens every time. The game does not let me move forward. I tried to delete and reinstall the game and it would still do the same thing. I loved what I experienced playing this game the first time, but I eventually got tired of hoping that it would let me move on, so I haven't picked this up since. I definitely hope to pick it up again one day though. Now that I have a Windows laptop, I could maybe get it on Steam and play this as my second Quantic Dream game. Hitman. I didn't play much of Hitman, so I can't really comment on it. I think I went in thinking I'd get something pretty similar to Assassin's Creed. Obviously less freedom to roam around, climb buildings and do parkour. I understand it's a more realistic take on real-life assassinations. I'd be interested to hear other people's thoughts, so let me know what you think of the Hitman game. Infamous. It's here because I've seen gameplay online and it looks so similar to Prototype. Your character has cool superpowers and can climb buildings like there's no tomorrow. Again, I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts on Infamous if you've played this before. Just Cause 2. Another game that's here for its third-person aspect. Looking at pictures online, it reminds me quite a bit of GTA. Since I already have GTA 5, I don't think I'm too interested in picking this up. LA Noire has been in my radar for quite a long time. I've always wanted to play this game. It's got amazing reviews, the mystery elements seem challenging, and it's a third-person game to boot. The gameplay seems interesting, so I'm keen on diving into it further. When I played it though, you can see that the facial animations do not move at all. I believe this is just a glitch from my hard drive. It doesn't always happen, but I've read online that the character facial animation is a huge driving point in the story, and it's what makes the game feel realistic, so I might consider getting this game on Steam. I reckon it'd be a better investment to better experience the game in full and be able to appreciate it more. Little Big Planet 3. This seems like a really adorable game. I was so surprised to see that Tarsier Studios was one of the developers of the game. They made one of my other favorite games, Little Nightmares. Makes sense when I played the game for the first time with a small charming doll character you get to play. This game feels so creative and expressive. There are so many details you can appreciate. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Little Big Planet 3. I was thinking this would make a great co-op game with friends and family. Resident Evil. I played the first couple of minutes of Resident Evil while recording this footage, and I must say I was immediately sucked in. While the graphics seem old and outdated, I find the controls pretty natural. The story also started out so strong. You're on a ship trying to find a friend, and basically there are little to no good signs in sight. Then, you are eventually met with this weird, scary creature that's been watching you all this time. Color me intrigued. I'm definitely keen on checking this out further and seeing what the hype is all about. I haven't played a lot of horror games, and I know Resident Evil is a well-loved franchise, so I can't wait to play this soon. Speaking of horror games, we have The Last of Us next. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I first played this game at my cousin's house a few years before I got my own PS3. I seem to get a lot of inspiration from my cousin's own backlog of PS3 games. This was again when I visited Australia as a tourist, but this was years after the time we played COD. Probably 3 years later, in 2014, we stayed over at our cousin's house, and whenever they went to school, I would play on their PS3 to entertain myself. I was only visiting for about 2 to 3 weeks, and within that time, I remember having so much fun with this game. I went as far as the winter season with Ellie, which in my opinion is the best season in the game simply because Ellie is my favorite character and has some of the most scary and emotional scenes in the game. That meant a lot to me because I was around Ellie's age when I played the game. I really liked Autumn as well. There was so much to do and the abandoned university location was so much fun. There were quite a few endearing moments with Joel and Ellie during Autumn since they have started to understand each other more. My choice of weapon in the game, and in any game in general, is usually the bow and arrow. I like to hide from danger and take my time to achieve stealthy, quiet kills. But when I play as Ellie, I love stabbing people in the back. This game brings me so many good memories, and the TV show too was very good. My partner and I are still going through the first season, and it's such a great adaptation so far. The characters are so on point, the show captures the heartwarming aspects of the depressing apocalypse so well. We've been really enjoying it so far. I've played this at least 5 to 10 times and this just holds so many strong core memories. The story is beautiful and poignant. I can recite some of the scenes by heart. I know where I'd be next and what to do. The characters are so funny and charismatic. It's a great cinematic experience of a game, which is why it still holds up as one of my favorite games of all time. Tomb Raider was fun but frustrating. I found it far more challenging than the Uncharted games, and when you die, you really feel the sting of it. Like they really rub it in your face by showing you the gruesome death of Lara Croft. I die so much.
Yeah, it's always like horribly gruesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I get so frustrated. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, exactly, yes. Overall, the game was pretty fun and the graphics are amazing. Lara Croft is a really badass character, but I only played this game once and never replayed it simply because of its difficulty and, well, the very brutal death scenes. Okay, so with the Uncharted games, I will clump them together because I honestly don't have any recollection of the individual storylines at all. I just remember enjoying my time with them, and with the titles I have here, I did play them through at least twice because I used to have a limited amount of games saved on my hard drive. Whenever I felt the urge to play through a fun third-person adventure game, I would go back and forth between Uncharted and Assassin's Creed. I like Nathan Drake. I had a huge crush on him as a child and I was so shocked when I learned Nolan North voiced him because as a kid, one of my favorite shows was Young Justice and he voiced one of the main group members, Superboy. Nathan Drake is funny and charming, always getting himself into trouble and somehow always finds a way out. I even got this Uncharted 4 pencil case that I found secondhand because of how much I enjoyed the game mechanics and its characters. I have a soft spot for Sully too, of course. He is a great father figure to Nate and their banters are so entertaining. So yes, as a kid, I mainly played the game for the gameplay and didn't focus on the storyline, so I don't really remember much about them. But I do remember the Shambhala boss fight in Uncharted 2 being super difficult. I usually pride myself in solving game puzzles without looking them up. This applied to games like Uncharted and Professor Layton. There was, however, one puzzle that I remember confused me so much that I had to look up hints online, being careful not to look up the whole answer. It was the puzzle where Nate had to do something with a scepter to light something up. I don't remember what the actual puzzle was, but that scepter still haunts me to this day. Otherwise, this game brought me a lot of joy as a kid, and I would love to replay them as an adult to see what I really think about them, and this time, actually follow the storyline. From the creators of Assassin's Creed, we have Watchdogs. I mainly got this game because of its ties with Assassin's Creed. Like with Resident Evil Revelations, I never actually played this game until I recorded this footage and I was quite interested in it. I like the idea of being able to hack into other people's information. I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities to learn fun, juicy stuff about the characters you've engaged with or murdered. My first impression of this is that it feels casual gamer friendly. I don't know, I tend to be drawn into Ubisoft games for its open world aspects and fun and interesting game mechanics. We have reached the end of my list of games. I hope you had fun listening to me reminisce about my childhood games. A lot of these games mean so much to me. I'm really glad to have experienced these games growing up. Interestingly, I have played 14 games out of the 28 games I own here, so that's exactly half of my catalog. Please let me know what your favorite PS3 games are, and if you have any fond memories of them. Feel free to provide game recommendations for the PS3 as well. I would love to hear about them so I can look into adding more games into my backlog. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.